Hello, I am petroonishchuk. Today I want to speak about CoreData and SwiftUI. I want to create a couple of videos when I want to explain how we can use CoreData in new SwiftUI project. This is my first video. In this video I try to show you how you can create default project by using checkpoint CoreData and also how you can create your custom project and save data by using CoreData. First, I must create a new default project by using checkpoint CoreData. For example, how you can see, I create default project by using checkpoint CoreData. This means we can use the CoreData inside this application without any setting. Okay, next I want to say a couple words what is CoreData. CoreData is object graph management framework for save data inside your application. This means with CoreData we can local save data in your application and also we can sync this data between devices by using iCloud. Next, what we need for work with CoreData in your application. For work with CoreData in your application, we need work with 4 classes. It's NSManage object model, NSPersist storer, NSPersist storer coordinator, and also NSManage object context. This 4 class is our CoreData stack. With CoreData stack, we can use our CoreData inside our application. And also Apple create another class, NSPersistent container. Through this class, we can access to each class from our CoreData stack. This means we'll be using this class for take access from each class from our CoreData stack. This means we'll be using this class for work with CoreData in our application. Okay, let's see what we have in our project. First, we have our CoreData model. This is our CoreData model. CoreData model is our NSManage object model. We'll be using this scheme when we'll be using our CoreData in our application. How you can see, our CoreData model have entity, item, and also have attributes type up. Entity inside our CoreData model is like type of class in our application. For example, our entity is class type item and also attribute is like property inside class. Class type item property times up. Okay, we'll be using this model when we will be using our CoreData in our application. Let's move to our persistence. This is our persistence controller structure. To the structure, we take access to our NSPersistent container. How you can see, this is our structure. And we have our NSPersistent container. How I said before, through this container, we can access to each class from our CoreData stack. In this container, we load our CoreData model. How you can see, this is our CoreData model, name of our CoreData model. And then, if we successfully load our CoreData model, we can use it our container through our persistent controller structure. And now, how you can see, inside our app structure, we create persistent controller object. And next, we put inside environment managed object context. For take our managed object context, we using our persistent controller .container.uContext. uContext is our managed object context. How you can see, this is class managed object context. Okay, this is our main content view. With this content view will be displayed list with item will hold our CoreData. How you can see, we take our manage object by using our environment. This property will be hold our manage object and also fetch request for take item from our CoreData and also property item. This property will be hold item what we take from our CoreData when we already save this data by using our CoreData. And also we using list and for each for display this item in our application. And we have couple buttons, button for delete item and button for add item. These two functions for delete and add item to our CoreData. With this function, we add a new item by using our CoreData. With this item, we delete item by using our CoreData. We create a new item by using our manage object context. We add a new data to our new item and then by using toTrackH block, we save data by using our uContext.set. With delete item, it's very similar. How you can see, we find item from our list and then by using uContext.save, we save changes what we make when we delete item by using our uContext. More information about add item and delete item by using our CoreData I will be displayed in next video. And also we have property item formatter for display our data in our application. How you can see, we use this item when we display data in our application. Okay, this is our main content view, and now I want to run a simulator and show you how we can save data in our application by using CoreData. For example, how you can see, when we run our simulator, we have our content view. This is our main content view. On the right corner, we have a plus button. This is our add item button. When we tap to this button, we run function add item. This is our add item function. This function will create default item object. How you can see, we create our default item object by using item, context, view context, and then we assign value, default value, date to timed up attributes to our new item object. And then by using view context.save, we save this item by using our core data. This means when we tap to this button, we create a new item, and then we save this item by using our view context. And now I want to create couple items. How you can see, I tap 3 times, this means I create a 3 item. And now, how you can see, we have 3 items in our application. We also have function delete item. With this function, we delete item from our application. How you can see, we search item what we want to delete. We using our view context to delete this item, and then we must save change what we make before. How you can see, when we delete this item, after this, we must save by using our view context.save. And now, after I create a 3 item and close and reload our app, we must have the 3 items in our application, because these 3 items we save by using our CoreData framework. When we run our application with fetch request, we take this item from our database, and then our property item will hold these all items. And then by using for each, we display this item in our application. For example, how you can see, I reload this application and we have 3 this item. This means our 3 items saved correctly. And now I try to delete this item. How you can see, we can delete this item. And now when I reload application, we must have only 1 item. How you can see, we have only 1 item. This means all methods in this application work correctly. How you can see, in first part of video, I try to create default project by using checkpoint CoreData, and then I try to explain how work CoreData in this SwiftUI project. Then I want to create a custom project without checkpoint CoreData and show you how we can add our CoreData in our project, not from scratch. For example, And now I create a new custom project. This project I create without checkpoint core data. This means we have a two projects. First project with checkpoint core data and second project without checkpoint core data. And now I want to compare these two projects and you can see what we have similar and also what we have different in our project. For example, this is our two app what we create in this video. On the left side we have our default app. This app will start with checkpoint core data. On the right side we have our custom app what we create without checkpoint core data. And now let's see what we have different and what we have similar in our two apps. First, let's move to our core data model. How you can see on the default project, we have model with name CoreData in SwiftUI default part 01. And this model have one entity, item. This entity have one attribute, time up. On the custom project, we have another CoreData model. How you can see, we have book LM model. This model have one entity, book. This entity have couple attributes, author, publication date, and title. This is first difference between our app. We have different CoreData model. Let's move to our persistent controller. If we take our two apps, we have very similar our persistent controller. First difference between our two persistent controllers, in default app we have preview property, but in custom app I don't create this preview property. Main difference between our two persistent controllers, how you can see inside our default app, for name of our NS persistent container, we have name CoreData SwiftUI default part 1. This is name of our CoreData model. But in our custom app, how you can see, we have name books.ml. This is name of our CoreData model. The next is very similar. How you can see inside app structure, we have the same. We create our persistent control touch shared property, and then we put this property in our environment. And also inside our custom project, we do the same thing. How you can see, we create our persistent control object, and then we put this object in our environment by using environment.managed object content. And now we have our content view. Our two content view very similar on the left and the right side. How you can see, first we have our environment object on the left and on the right side. Next, we create our fetch request. On the left side, we have our one fetch request. On the right side, I have two variants of fetch request. First variant, very similar, like in our right side, in our default project, and also we have a second variant of fetch request. And also, we have a property on the left side, item. This property called old item, what we take when we create our fetch request. On the right side, we have property old book. This property will be called old book, what we take when we create our fetch request. Next, how you can see, we create a list by using item for hold our on the left side, our items property, on the right side, all books property. How you can see, for create a list, we use list for structure and display information for hold each item inside our property. And the right side, we display information would hold each book inside our property, all book. Next, how you can see, we have a two methods, add item and add book. First method on the left side, how you can see, we create item object, and then when we create this item object, we add data for this item object, and then we try to set this object. On the right side, how you can see, we create a new book object, then we set placeholder data for this object, and then we try to set this object by using our view context. This means we use CoreData for set this object. And also, we have a two method, delete item and delete book. With these two methods, we try to delete item. On the right side, we try to delete book from our application. And now I try to show you these two projects. This default project by using checkpoint core data, and also this custom project without checkpoint core data, and also a custom project without checkpoint core data. And now I run a simulator in our custom project, and when I tap button plus, we must create a new default book with this data. And now you can see I run a simulator, and when I tap this button plus, we must create this new book object with this value for title, for author, and for date. For example, how you can see, we create this object, and now when you reload this application, we must have the same object. For example, how you can see, we have the same three objects. This means we set these three objects by using CoreData successfully. And now I try to delete one of these objects. How you can see, we can delete this object by using our function delete book. Okay, this is the end of my first video. In this video, I try to show you how you can create objects by using checkpoint core data, and also how you can add CoreData when you start object without checkpoint CoreData. This was the basic video about CoreData. In the next video I try to explain more about CoreData in SwiftUI. Thank you for watching.